This is part 2 of the detailed example for the advising worksheet. And then we can look at history, and a little note to the viewer. The list attempts to clarify that the student should take a sequence. And there's a similar note in the natural science list as well. Scrolling up here, it says, a sequence, select a sequence or 2 non-sequential notes, and it lists what the acceptable sequences are. That's information that's reflected in the catalog. Of course, since this has been dictated by the Cumberland program, they have to take Biology 2010, so the student doesn't actually get a choice there. That's why it's white. And again, going up to unprotect the sheet would allow the user to edit those and allow something else to be typed in that cell if you really wanted to. In other programs, the advisee would be permitted to pick a math and psychology and behavioral sciences, social sciences, but again, those are dictated in this program. And we get to the computer literacy requirement, which I briefly described to Otto, pointing out the web page that he needs to go to, which is actually listed over here in the notes. We'll get to that later, but there is a note there that has the website for the computer literacy. So I'd tell Otto that he needs to make sure he looks at that website later on and decides whether he wants to do the course, which is a 3-hour course, or whether he wants to take the exam, which of course isn't hours. Okay. And we'll talk more about the notes later. Below the general education courses, we have the remaining other courses that will vary from program to program. Since the Cumberland program is pretty specific, these are all already listed. This at least one elective down here indicates that the student in this program needs to just select one other course which they can choose from the entire catalog. Now, since Otto needs to take Math 1000 anyway, which is a college level course, that'll count towards his elective, so really we could just delete this one. Or of course we could have typed in Math 1000 in that slot to begin with. There's also plenty of room for Otto to select other special interest courses if he wants to. Now that Otto has selected my courses, or left some of them to be decided later, as we have here, we turn our attention over to my plan. Now under each term, the choices are restricted to the courses Otto picked in my courses. So when a course is selected for a semester in my plan, so for instance, let's say he wants to start off with Intro to Biology, the hours are automatically pulled from my course list, and the term column of my courses has been updated, reflecting the term in which the course is planned. This allows the user to quickly see which of the chosen courses have yet to be planned and which have been planned. And in the event that a course is mistakenly put twice in here, there is a catch for that as well. Suppose they select Intro to Biology twice, it flags that over in the term column. Alright, now with every addition, the total hours in my plan is updated, so of course the total per semester, in addition to the total here for the plan, and finally down here underneath my course list, the total hours not yet planned or completed is continually counting down until hopefully that's a 0 once everything has been planned or completed. One shortcoming to the worksheet, as a note to the viewer, is that if a course is selected in the plan and then changed, my plan doesn't automatically update. So for instance, suppose Otto says, I don't know what history class I'm going to take yet, but I'm going to go ahead and plan it for this semester. And then later on he decides, I want to take the American History 1. Well, my plan doesn't update. I have not been able to figure out how to do that. If any savvy viewer can think of a way to do that, I would love to know. Now, the thing I like most about the whole worksheet and the main inspiration for creating the worksheet in the first place is the ability to visualize the student's entire academic career at a glance. For instance, with Otto, I note that he has several lab science courses to take, so when planning his courses, I encourage him to spread them out evenly, so that he doesn't end up having to take 3 of them at the same time his last semester. So for instance, I could say, well, let's take Intro to Bio, and then we'll take, since he already took Anatomy Physiology 1, we'll take Anatomy Physiology 2, or maybe the Chemistry. And then maybe he wants to take classes over the summer, maybe not. And then in the fall, maybe we take Anatomy Physiology 2, and then in the spring we can take Micro, and he's spread out his lab science courses in a manageable way. Similarly, I can advise Otto to plan his 4 math classes, since he needed the Math 810 and the 1000 in addition to 1130 and 1530. Spread those out in a reasonable order, and spread out the English and history classes reasonably as well. So, having filled out Otto's plan, or as much as he wants to do right now, we would then turn our attention to the notes section of the worksheet. Now this section is also blue-gray, meaning all of the cells are meant to be edited by the user. It comes pre-populated with generic notes that I've found myself giving to pretty much every student. If these notes are no longer applicable to the student, for example, after the first semester, they probably won't need the website for the online orientation. They can be deleted, leaving room for more other notes. Notes personalized for this individual student. So, for example, let's suppose Otto is unclear about his financial aid status and whether or not he needs to be full-time to keep his grant. Well, then I would type a reminder. Check with financial aid. Do I need to be full-time? And that's a reminder for Otto to check on that later, to see to get that question answered. And then we turn our attention to the checklist. From the beginning, I want Otto to know what's coming down the line. Even if we don't know these dates yet, these deadlines, I want Otto to know that they are coming. And so, the checklist will at least serve as a reminder that these deadlines will be coming up, and he will need to pay attention to doing all of these things eventually. So, we note the date of the advising down here, and adding that to the list if there are previous advising sessions that we've had. And then I save the file, I print the worksheet, double-sided if possible, and I sign the bottom there on advisor's signature. Now the signature is just a formality, of course, but it lets Otto know that this printed plan has his advisor's stamp of approval. So, Otto and I say our goodbyes, and he's unleashed on campus. And that's it. I've wrestled with the idea of emailing the form, the electronic form, to the student so that they can play around with it. At this point, I'm still a little nervous about that. Even with the Protect sheet selected, Otto might accidentally fundamentally alter some formula somehow. But I think the benefits of allowing the student to play around with it on their own probably outweigh the risk. And as long as I sign the printout and remind Otto that only the signed printout is what I've approved, and any changes he makes to an electronic copy may or may not be a good advisable plan, then it's probably a good idea to email a copy to the student. I'd certainly like some opinions on that from other advisors. Now, what I'd love to see for this worksheet, or an even better one that somebody else comes up with, is to be used by advisors all across campus. Ideally, I'd be able to save Otto's worksheet to some secure location on the intranet, so that if he changes majors or switches advisors, or simply needs to talk to someone when I'm not available, the other advisor can pull it up, see what Otto has planned, saving both the advisor and the advisee a lot of trouble. And, of course, next time Otto comes to me, I pull out this worksheet, and we don't have to spend the first 10-15 minutes rehashing stuff we've already figured out. And that's it. It's still a work in progress. I'm sure there are things I haven't thought of, and there certainly could be some bugs I haven't encountered yet. And please try this out with your students. See how you like it, and see if you have any ideas. I'd welcome your ideas. I'd welcome your feedback. Thank you.